Good afternoon on Super Bowl Sunday. Should be a festive game. Doing a little work in here on a Sunday afternoon. And I got a question here from Chris. By the way, I wanted to share this with all of you. If you have any questions, please ask them. And something I'm really big on, and out of respect for each of you, I will only use your first name. I won't use your last name. Not that there's something secret in here or a secret society or we're talking about something crazy. No, just out of respect for you. So Chris had a question. Chris asked a question. It was about gapping up, stocks that gap up. And if it's beyond an ideal buy point, what do I do? How can I get in this? If it's gapped up too much, should I even get into it? Should I buy it? Let's suppose that we use rules as part of buying 50%, 30%, 20%, but it gaps up so much that, gosh, do you buy the whole position? How do you get into it in a safe manner? Well, here's the way I do it, and it's conservative because the last thing I don't want to do is buy something and have the sucker go up just a little bit, gaps up big, goes up a bit, I buy it, and then it starts to drop, and I don't have a rule to sell. I made several videos this weekend that are going to be posted about selling. You can now see the importance of selling right, because it can get out of hand really quick. So let's talk about entry for a second, because entry on this relates to selling. Let's do Twitter. There's a really good rule. This isn't a perfect base, okay? But it gets the point across. You can see it gapped up a lot. Okay, we'll assume there was a shelf here and it gaps above it. What do? This is the rule, and it's called the 30-minute rule. And this is what I know a lot of really good investors and traders, what they do. And it's as the name says, they wait 30 minutes. They watch the action for 30 minutes. They watch it on the daily chart. They'll watch it on a half-hour chart. They'll watch it or a 30-minute chart. They'll watch it on a 10-minute chart and maybe even 5-minute. And watch it work through for 25 to 30 minutes. Then if it's still acting good, and I'm using Twitter, you see where Twitter gapped up? It closed here and it opened. You see that little bar right there? That's where it opened. That little green dash right there, that's where it's open. It's opened up big, and it kind of maneuvered around. Finally, we're going to assume that it stays somewhere near this price. You buy some. You could buy a 50% position there, just a 50%. I would not go crazy and buy a full position. And there's another portion of this rule, though, that's really important. You're watching it on, say, a 30-minute or a 10-minute chart. If it gaps up, it maneuvers around, and you buy it somewhere around here, if it takes out the lows of the day, you must sell off half your position. Why? Because you were wrong. You were wrong. What you don't want to do is have it gap up, maneuver around, and then keep falling. And you're going, gosh, what do I do now? The best gap ups will gap up, they'll maneuver around, and then they'll start to march up, and they will not take out the lows of that gap up day. I will say it again. They will not take out the lows of that gap up day. If they do, you sell half. If it keeps falling, sell the other half. Get out of it. Why? I say it again. Because you're wrong. Now, the next portion of this question is, let's suppose you buy a 50% position here, and then it keeps on marching. Can you add to it? Yes, you can, but I'll be very honest. I have found it better just to take the 50% position and stay with that, because this big gap up is really aggressive. I have seen cases where you're a hero, and I've seen other instances where it does this, and later on that day, you got a problem. You got a problem, which leads to the rule. If it takes out the lows in the first 30 minutes, you sell. You sell. So that's what I would do with it. Would I add a lot to it? No, I'd stay with a 50% position. If normally you're going to buy, say, 200 shares, I would just stick with 100 shares and watch how it acts for the day. Hopefully, after that period of time, you will have another spot eventually where you can get into it and pyramid into it. Be really careful, though. The moral of the story is this. Be really careful chasing big gap ups. Chris, I hope that helps you, okay? My goal is to be cautious. Yeah, do I want to make money? Yes. But a big part of making money is making sure we don't lose a lot. So I thank you for the question. Welcome to the team. Keep asking the questions. If you're not satisfied with that, send me another note. Let's keep going through it. This is very, very important because I'm working for you. I thank you. Y'all have a good afternoon.